Yeehaw and welcome, Becca and seven of our closest friends. Hello, hello, hello. How are you today, Becca? We just had a little Star Trek conversation backstage.
Yes. I'm
I'm
good. I'm just yeah, like we were saying, I just haven't been writing for the last few days, so I would like to reset and get going for the month.
and what a beautiful day to start doing that. And I have not written this one at all either. I had so high hopes for the living, but
Same.
I just don't know what to write. So I'm like, I think I'm just going to sit down and actually outline the rest of the novel as if I've written the first part of the novel as I want it.
Okay.
So I've just been slowly like working through the beats, like figuring out, okay, what goes where, what do I want the ending to be, how do I want the ending to be. Sort of
Okay.
that's like I have the ending scene in mind,
Okay.
so I know where I'm going at least. Uh, and I still know where I've been, however that song goes. But it's been a struggle because I really wanted to write, but I think it's more productive to sit down and actually outline the rest of the book and
I
then
know.
maybe pick up writing when I've done the outline.
Yeah, because then at least you'll be able to just go, because otherwise, yeah, it gets like it gets stopped up when it's like, ah, crap, I don't know. Should I do this? Maybe I should do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
I
hate
do know, like, I know the big post, like, I know the All Is Lost and the Break into Three, and I know the ending. So,
that.
like, I got some 10 poles
No,
along
that's
the way.
great. Ending is so important because I finished the rough draft of the screenplay in November, but I think I had said this to you, like I hated the ending. Like the ending was just not, it was just bleh, like there was just nothing
It
there.
wasn't giving.
Yeah. And so I came up with an ending like a month ago. Before I started the book, like I finally came up with the ending for the screenplay. And it was like I'm so glad I waited, but because now I feel like that can be a really good ending to the book as well. But yeah,
Serve.
which is good because sometimes they don't match like an ending to a movie is, because like with books although I don't know, what are you more into? Do you like books that give more of like okay, now that we've saved the day, now we get a little bit of like happy ending moments where it's like yay, we get to like sort of see what's going on after the fact? You know how like some writers like they go for chapters of like just summing up and like, oh, we're happy now, and oh, we did this, and like, which kind of gives you the this huge epilogue in a way. Or would you rather it just be like we saved the day, like a movie, we saved the day, and there's like very little of like the yay, and then it's done.
Ooh, I do like an epilogue, I will say.
Okay.
But I like the kind of epilogue where sort of like it's flipping the opening image, for example, or the opening situation where like the situation is the same, but the character is changed, so the situation also changes in the perspective of the viewer.
Right.
For example, Hunger Games, I love that ending where they're just sitting on the pork. That's not the word. Sitting on the porch, talking about, making the book and like having the children and like, it's still a very bittersweet moment, but it's
Right.
because I hate what Rowling did with having like, yes, they married so and they had so many kids and they were all named these ridiculous names after all the characters that died along the way. And yeah, I
Right.
didn't like that, but I do love a sort of a closing scene that
Okay.
kind of mirrors the opening scene in a way, or is a reflection of the opening scene. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, yeah. And so you like it kind of short and sweet, but it has to kind of bring
Yes.
everything together, sort of turn everything
Yeah, like
into.
short and sweet or short and bittersweet. Those are my two faves.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Then I think
But I'm not into like the whole sort of, because that was very prevalent in like the Jane Austen era, where there's like, oh, they married happily and lived at Longby for so long, and they had so many children, and the children married, and their aunts married. Yeah, don't care about that.
yeah, I mean, I guess it's more like the Cassandra Clare. Like I've read all of her books, she does the Shadowhunter stuff. And so she'll like resolve the big bad, the big thing, where they're fighting and they, whatever on like let's say the book is like 600 pages. She'll resolve that on page 500 and then we've got 100 pages of just the aftermath and like how everyone's like, so it's kind of like usually the romance, right? So you're going to get to they finally get to be together and or whatever. And that's usually like her end book. Like I guess when she's doing them as a trilogy, you do get the cliffhangers on those. But yeah, so I've never really like I'm like find myself like tedious getting through those because I like don't like them.
Yeah, I definitely like I want to wrap up, and it can't just be like final battle, villain dead, cut. Because that's
Right.
often some
A
movies.
little something. I'm the same way.
Yeah,
I need a little something, but like
yeah,
not 100 pages of
yeah.
something.
A little something like Sabrina Carpenter, short and sweet. That's my favorite.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm the same way. So, and I think that's what this gives the screenplay and the book, but again, I'll
I'll
have
be the judge of that, baby.
yeah, you'll have to let me know. But I'm definitely going to give you the screenplay first because
Okay.
like I said, I am going to go through this and then hopefully by the end of the month I will have a draft that I will be able to give you and I think maybe a few other people. I kind of want to keep it small initially just to get some reactions and some notes and stuff and then maybe give it to another set of people um, in March, like maybe like like my film friends or whatever that might once
I
it's
will
like
happily read
down.
anything
Yeah.
you choose to put in front of my cerulean orbs with joy.
Okay. Okay.
We were also joined by some friends, as I said, now 9 of our closest friends, so it's picking up, it's picking up.
Oh.
Hello, Mars, welcome. Hello, Kagehima, welcome. Wendy is here and Anna is here, both welcome. Yes, a little bit of Star Trek in honor of, is it a cardigan or like a
Yeah, it's like
jacket?
it's a little sweater. Yeah, little cardigan sweater,
It's
just short.
very cute, very librarian.
I know.
Um, Malin joined us and Flora are here. Marlene asks, are you using anything from the craft book we're reading already? I am indeed. The craft book for this month is going to be the last Tuesday of the month, and we're reading this one, which is Write Your Novel from the Middle by
Oh,
James Scott Bell.
okay.
And it's very short. It's only like 70 pages or something, like 50 pages of actual book and then a bit of a tit for tat in the beginning and the end.
Okay.
But I do really enjoy it. Spoiler alert, I guess, for the upcoming stream. I do really enjoy it. So I have been thinking about my story in kind of the framework of this novel, so or this craft book, so to speak.
Oh,
Then
perfect.
I actually started a second craft book, which I think I'm going to do a story on in next month, March, and that's Bird by Anne Lamott. A little spoiler alert. And I
Okay.
think I've roped Grape into reading this with me, so be on the lookout for that.
Okay.
And that's a little teaser there. But yeah, I am using Write Your Novel from the Middle as a kind of framework for my outlining.
Okay. So the other book, Bird by Bird, what I can't from the title, I can't tell what that would.
Oh, it's some instructions on writing and life.
Oh,
I've only read like what's it called, the forward introduction is called.
okay.
But I really like her writing style so far, and it's. I was reading a post somewhere on the deep web about something writing related, and there was someone who'd left a comment like, Save the Cat and Bird by Anne Lamott really changed how I view writing. So I'm like, okay, I love Save the Cat, so let me read Bird by Bird.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I've never heard of it, so
Yeah,
I'd have to
and
check it out myself.
the cover is so
Yeah,
stunning.
I love it. Like it
Oh
looks
my
like
God, Anna, do you want to be part of the discussion crew for March?
nice.
Call in, Anna. I'd love to have you.
To be honest though,
Uh,
from the cover and from the title, it's
Stunning,
definitely
right?
giving like but it feels like it's a drama. Like it does not feel like it's a craft book.
Uh,
I mean, just from that, like if I saw that on a shelf, I'd be like,
yeah.
"Oh, what's this?" It's like
I
some
wouldn't know it's a craft book if it wasn't for the fact that somebody said like these two books changed my view on writing.
No, I'm
I have not actually read a blurb, so I can read that for everyone, just so we're all on the same page. For a quarter century, more than 1 million readers, scribes, and scribblers, of all ages and abilities, have been inspired by Anne Lamott's lively, big-hearted, homespun advice. Advice that begins with a simple word of wisdom passed down from Anne's father, also a writer, in an iconic passage that gives the book its title. And the passage is as following. 30 years ago, my older brother, who was 10 years old at the time, was trying to get a report on birds written that he'd had 3 months to write, which was due the next day. We were out at our family cabin in the Bolinas. I don't actually know what that is. And he was at the kitchen table close to tears, surrounded by binder paper and pencils and unopened books on birds, immobilized by the hugeness of the task ahead. Then my father sat down beside him, put his arm around my brother's shoulder, and said, "Bird by bird, buddy. Just take it bird by bird." And that's why the book is called
Oh,
Bird by Bird.
okay, I love that. That makes so much sense. One step at a time,
Uh,
baby
yeah, an
steps.
essential volume for generations of writers, young and old. Bird by Bird is a modern classic. This 25th anniversary edition will continue to spark creative minds for years to come.
Dang, it's been around a long time.
Also reviewed by the Christian Science Monitor, one of the funniest books on writing ever published. So there you go.
Oh,
New
interesting.
York, yeah, a New York Times bestseller, author of almost everything being the title of the book. Uh, but yeah, let's see. Yeah, but I'll probably harsh your stream schedule, Crazy 9 to 5. We can work around your schedule, Anna. I'm not picky about days. We can do a weekend if that's easier. Absolutely want you on board for this. Uh, we were joined by some more people. Laura joined us. Hello, hello.
Mm.
Uh, Mars says everyone pairs up and gets heterosexual married. It's the worst ending a book can have. 100% agree. But 100 pages extra after 1,000 of pages of plot isn't bad. It also
Yeah,
depends on if you're reading the book for the plot or the romance.
that's true, and that is true, and I
I know
definitely
people who live and die by the Cassie
yeah.
Clare epilogues. So
I know, and that's the thing is that I think if I was and it's not that I'm not into the romance, like I am, like she does a really good job of like, make it, but it just I'm more into the plot. I'm just more of a plot person.
100% on the same page as you, and
Yeah.
that page is not an epilogue of extensive romantic
Yeah.
arcs. Um, and I think, oh, I had a thought, but it escaped me. Yeah, no, I definitely prefer short and sweet or short and bittersweet as
Yeah.
terms of endings. But I do love like maybe a little, what's it called? An appendix or something of that sort. I do love that.
Oh, yeah, like in fantasies and stuff where they have like
Yeah,
all the
Samantha
yeah,
Shannon has like appendix upon appendix at the back of her books that I'm
yeah,
like cobbling
those are
it all
fun.
up.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
like that stuff.
but I like the story to be wrapped up.
Yeah,
And then I
me
could just view the family tree at my own leisure.
too. Exactly.
Regina also joined us. Hello, friends. Hi, Stig, and hi, Becca. Hello, Regina. Thank you for being here. Oh yeah, Anna does own Bird by Bird. Don't mind me just placing a Libby hold for that real quick.
I know, it sounds really good.
uh, Anna just gave 2 heart emojis. Kagehima says, I'm not into plot. I just finished Haunting Adelaine and loved the book, but the plot dragged it down. Oof.
Oh,
We are
interesting.
just built different, Kagehima, I think. And that's the beauty of art, that it's all subjective.
Yeah. That's why you can't ever satisfy everybody, like, when you're writing your own stuff, so don't worry about it because some people are gonna absolutely hate what you're
I think
writing.
just write the story that you want to read because
Yeah,
you'll be reading it
you just
72
gotta do
times. I
you.
think that's how. And also, I haven't read your story, but it kind of gives like the vibe of short and bittersweet ending, maybe short and like
It
promising.
is. It's actually see, that's how originally I had it, and it just was like, I needed it to be because it's kind of magical realism. I needed it to be with all the darkness that happens in the movie, like, I needed it to end on, like, a note of hope and, like, also crazy, like, this kid still has a crazy imagination and how, that helps with the trauma kind of thing. So it actually ends up being really sweet, but, like, at the same time well, I don't know. Anyway, you're gonna have to tell me. I think it works, but I don't know, no one's read it yet, so
That's why we get beta readers.
yes.
Mullen says, I love a proper epilogue though. I need to know what happens to everyone after the big bad stuff. But I don't
Yeah,
like to know about 100 pages of it. Yeah.
exactly. That's
That's
exactly
what I'm
it.
saying. Short and sweet.
Exactly. Like, if like and I don't mean to be ripping on Cassandra Clare. Obviously, I've read all her books, so I am a fan, but it's just, like, I feel like the epilogue that they're not even called epilogues. There's actual chapters, but it's basically an epilogue because the big bad has been taken down. So you've just got like I feel like you could have done it in 2 chapters, not like 10, you know? And so, yeah, that's just me, I guess, because everyone else like loves them so much. So
Mars says, "Oh my God, yeah, the last like 2 hours of a day of Fallen Knight audiobook was just the list of people and the timeline and all that." But I do love the list of people.
right. If it's in like a paper where you can look through it yourself, I don't think
Yeah,
on
it's like yeah, I wouldn't listen to an audiobook because that doesn't give
yeah,
me anything. But like
yeah,
just flipping through the
yeah,
appendix. There you go. Flipping through the appendix after you've read like this great, and she writes great tales. They're like huge epic tales. And
yeah,
just flipping through it, and she lists like obviously all the characters of the novel, but also characters that are mentioned and historical figures and all that, and like even things that aren't mentioned but are in relations to like the historical figures or the characters in the novel she lists. And I
uh-huh.
just have so much fun like looking through it and seeing like, ooh, and she has
Right,
like date of birth, date of death, like the great feat, all that. It's so fun.
wow. That's fun, and I mean, because you know that's part of her, like, Bible for her you know what I mean? She's like, "Alright, let's publish it."
Absolutely. Uh, Mullen says, I guess I need somewhere in between. Yeah,
I
maybe
do.
don't flip through the appendage. Or do if it's infected, you know? Yank that bitch out.
Yeah, I like in between, like, I don't mind, like, a good, you know, prolonged epilogue, but just not, like, 100 pages long, like, I can do a semi-long one, but I would rather it be shorter, but I will still enjoy it if it's, like, mid.
Yeah. And if you love the book, I'll read anything about it anyway. But if
Yeah,
the
I
book is
mean,
kind of just like, ooh, I'm not sure about this, and then there's a huge appendage, I'd be like, okay.
yeah. They're like, "Forget it." Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
but I guess we're here to work, question mark. So shall
Ooh.
we get down to business to defeat the Huns? The Huns then being our creative endeavors for the time being.
Oh, wait, that means I actually have to get my document up?
Ugh, I know. I'm so sorry I did it to you, Becca.
I don't even know where to
Boo!
go.
Only work, only chat. I know.
Okay.
Working
Yeah.
during a writing sprint stream, hearsay, hearsay.
It's
Can we
crazy.
do? There you go. We're gonna do 25-minute sprints. I'm not sure how many sprints we'll do, but we'll probably stick around until Becca is sick of us all. However long that may be, but we're at least gonna do two. I can promise two.
Yes.
Um, Marlon says I need to get through chapters of demons and edit a video. So yes, work. Thanks. Yeah. What are you specifically working on now, Becca? Did we say? And also, chat. What are you working on? Call in.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and finish this chapter and then, maybe start reading this.
And I'm gonna try and fill out some beats in my little beat sheet in Notion. So that's what I'm gonna do. Also, hello, Bombastus. You are just in time for our first sprint. So here we go. Very zen. How did you do for that, Becca?
Good. I didn't finish the chapter. It's going to be a longer one than I expected, but I did write 588 words.
Serve.
Yeah. I also
Back in the
realized
saddle.
I did something. I was like, oh crap, like in the middle, and I had to go fix it because in the screenplay, the grandma, I'm doing it from the grandma's perspective this chapter. So she's on the phone and she's worried that the granddaughter may have told on her. But so far it doesn't seem like she has because no one's acting differently. But she's on the phone with her the little girl's mom who's calling and basically it's like my mom. My mom had like she knew, like my mom knew. So she immediately called. She's like, put Becca on the phone now. And so she knows that she's like her and knows that's why she's calling. Um, but she doesn't want to talk to her. So in the screenplay, she just hands the phone to her other daughter, and then which was my other aunt. And so she's the one that talked to my mom. So I'm just writing it like with the phone conversation. I'm all like, wait, she's not on the phone anymore. How would she know what she's saying? And I'm like, well, crap. So I had to go back and have it like that she's so worried that the little girl that was told on her that she has to hear what's on the phone. So she like picks up a receiver in the other room to
Ooh, I love a good snooping conversation.
but I was all like, I'm glad I caught it because I was just like, wait, how does she know what she's saying? She's not on this phone call.
Yeah. Oh, but that's so dramatic though. Like I love a good like picking up the phone in another room and
Right?
listening in.
What's she saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's good.
Okay.
I continued working on my trying to get the back half of my novel outlined.
Okay.
It doesn't look like much, but I did do some like little notes and
Oh,
like yeah.
I love that.
So I'm trying to figure out like what is the transformation my character is going through
Okay.
and like how do we get there from the midpoint.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so that's what I did.
Okay. And do you know, or you're just still kind of brainstorming to figure?
I'm just trying to brainstorm. This book has some specific suggestions to questions you could ask,
Oh, okay. That's
and like to have one scene that shows like in physicality how your character has changed. So currently, I'm just trying to outline like back the back half of the back half, like the final act, and then kind of reverse engineer it back to the midpoint and see what I end up with.
I like this idea, especially because the messy middle is so like common for most writers, you know. So I do love the idea of that. Like, especially when you're it could just be so
Yeah, that is exactly the emotion I have, Becca. It's just
yeah, it's
I
just
should have outlined this from the get-go, but here we are.
and some stories are great. You don't ever run into that problem. You're like, "Oh, this was so nice." It's just like but it's just sometimes it's just like, ah, because you
And
know
it
you
shouldn't even be that difficult because it's like a actiony, plot-heavy cowboy book. So no,
okay,
it shouldn't take me this amount of effort to try and come up with a transformation, but still, it does.
it
So
does. Yeah. I'm
yeah,
excited
and
for you though.
also tiptoeing on some like self-awareness, self-analysis questions when
Yeah.
you know I'm working on this character. Like, oop, is this a bottle I want to open right now? Let's see. But yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. I think it's going to be a good story by the time I'm done with all the edits and stuff right
Okay.
now. But for now, just trying to get the story on paper is a challenge in itself. So
Yeah, that's definitely the hardest part. Sometimes it's like I've had like when I did the first time I ever did NaNoWriMo was actually with one of my books called The Dream Diaries, and I outlined it the day before. Right. So I did it. I fit like 60,000 words or whatever it was, and I was just like, okay, this is good.
I can
But
do this.
it was to this date the hardest book I have ever edited because
Oh,
I was just like when the outline wasn't working or when it does or stuff, it just was like I just went so off just to get the draft out that I oh my god, like I mean it took me 30 days to write the book, but it took me like I'd say 6 to 7 months of every day editing it to make it readable.
Scripts before you wrote books, right? So like you knew a story, you knew what else entailed, you knew like beginning, middle, end, transformation.
Yeah,
Uh,
it just didn't work. Like, I think it was less the plot. The plot was fine, right? But it was also a mystery. So I think like it was
oh.
so like, not enough red herrings, and it's like literally you've only made one suspect. So it's kind of obvious. And then I was all like, but then at the same time, do I want it to be obvious? Like, because that kind of can be scary when the main character doesn't know, but everybody else has figured it out. It just was like those kind of questions that is what made it hard for the editing process. So it was definitely a genre thing. Like it wasn't like, oh my God, I screwed up when I wrote the draft and I didn't know what to do. Like the plot was there, the characters were there. It just was like, it just was so blah. Like it took a lot to really.
But you did it.
I did do it. I did do it. Yeah. And it is nice to have, I mean, I always say it is nice to have something to edit, but in that one case,
Yeah. Well, I've never finished a book, so I just that's my main priority to finish a book, but I
oh
kind
my
of want to
gosh.
finish it to a satisfying end.
Okay.
Uh,
'Cause you
and
finished drafts before. You just have never finished, right? You finished
I
like,
haven't finished the draft either.
oh, really? Oh, okay. So this will be like your first like official, I finished the
First
draft.
draft.
Oh my gosh. That's so
I
exciting.
mean, we'll see, Becca, if that's maybe I just switch projects. Who knows? Who knows?
No, you'll do it. You've got
This
this.
is like the third book I started writing since I joined like the online writing community, I think.
Okay.
So it's been a doozy, but we're getting there.
You just started with screenplays. It's less pages. I'm trying to get you to see.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
And it's because you like plot so much. It would be I'm just saying, like, it's a good way to get a rough draft out because it is so plot driven. And then your edits could be, bringing in more character and things like that.
I think that's what I'm gonna try and do for maybe a future project because
Okay.
I
I could,
like I write scripts for my fan fiction because that just makes sense because
right.
usually write fan fictions about television shows.
I know.
Um, so that's definitely like a vibe, and I love that like creative energy of like just
Yes.
having dialogues, and that's make it so much easier. So definitely something to consider for the future, making a script as like a first draft or a zero draft, and then writing a novel based on the script. I think that's
Yeah.
might be a good thing for me. We'll see. Uh, but
I
yeah, no, my dream is to finish a book and not a script. So there you go.
I
That's on the bucket
know.
list.
Can't we just shift the dream a little bit? Like my dream was always to write scripts and never write books, but then I shifted it to books. So
That's fair. But your dream is to be a writer. I don't dream of being a writer. I just want to write.
yeah, no, I know. I mean, yeah, and honestly, if we're going for my original dream, it was to make movies. So I still haven't done that yet. So
Yet.
yet, but yet,
Still plenty of time. Still plenty of time.
yeah.
Let's see what our friends did. We were joined by JC. Hello, hello, hello.
Yay!
Mars is reading A Fire Endless by Rebecca Ross, just surpassed halfway.
Ooh, nice.
And Bombastus is going to try and work on chapter 3 for the current whip. What is your current whip, Bombastus? Call in. Let's see. Laura says I did some live editing in my erotic scanner romance yesterday, going to finish my read through and write some more chapters that were previously a time skip. It's currently at 17.5k words, might end up at 30k. Ooh, that's a big jump.
Yeah.
Oh, scammer romance. I was like, what's an erotic scanner? Are you writing about sex toys? But then it's Laura, so nothing surprises me
It's
really.
true.
Regina says, I located the dystopian manuscript and joy, I am 80% through the revisions. Oh,
My
love
God.
that.
Yay.
Love surprising myself. I do that on a daily basis, Regina. Marlon did one chapter of Demons and started dinner.
Yay.
And Mars read a couple of chapters. Flora got 180 words and fixed themselves some tea. Sounds lovely. Wendy did journaling, which I have neglected the last 2 days. So one thing back on track. Love to see it.
Nice.
My characters spend the middle screwing each other. My villains spent the middle screwing my characters. So that's the angle I went for. Don't you dare finish it. Write in 30 days, spend months editing. My worst nightmare. Gonna pause before we go. Sending you tons of finish you the draft vibes. You can do it. We all will celebrate with you and for you
Yes.
when you get there. If I get there, big if,
So
huge if.
when?
Um, but I've never been closer. So I've
Yeah.
never been close. I never made it to the halfway point of the book. So
Oh,
uh,
really? Okay. So yeah, you've got this
my
then.
first book, I got a couple of chapters into Act Two, and the same with my second book. The first book was a sci-fi space opera,
Okay.
multiple point of views. Why did I start with that? Who
I
knows,
was just
Becca?
like,
It
that
just says.
sounds really hard. Oh my
And then
god.
I tried to do my fantasy, which also ended up being a multiple point of view project. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, don't do that. And
Yeah.
I'm sticking to this cowboy book, and that has yet to turn into a multiple point of view, and I don't think it'll fit the book. So I'm
Okay.
very happy with the scope of the story. It's like an easy, like
Yes.
quest story, go and kill the bad guy story, get
Yeah.
the reward, save the farm sort of situation.
Okay.
Um,
No, that's good. One POV is definitely the way to go on the
yeah,
first. Yeah.
but I do, and also I think I will never finish the space opera because I'm just gonna pillage parts for that for a future project.
Oh, okay.
But it was a nice vision to have, and I even had art made for the space opera one, which is so ironic. For like, oh, this is my first ever draft that I never finished, but
Oh my god. Well,
I did
that
purchase someone
artwork
to make
I also
art.
made, and my fantasy, dragon fantasy, that I nope have I got halfway through.
Yeah, I had a full outline, and I do love the story. I think it's a great story actually. So
Yeah.
maybe I should write it. Nope, that's not a thought for now.
Okay. Well, you know what?
Uh,
Maybe we'll both come together at some point, and I will finish this one, and you will finish.
yeah,
But it's
let's do a project on that.
yeah, mine's multiple POV too, and I was just like, oh my god, I've written like 105,000 words in it, and it's not even halfway done. I'm just like,
Dang.
yeah,
I
I'm
don't
like,
think I got longer than 30,000, but it started as a single point of view story, and then I realized that, ooh, this would be so much better as multiple
much
point
better
because
with
it's
the.
about three siblings, so it makes sense to have
Oh my
this
god,
world
mine's three
experienced.
as well. This
Maybe we should
sounds
do
like
this.
we should
Yeah,
make this a project. Except that the thought of getting back into that world is just so hurtful.
daunting.
I can't even the pain of it.
Yeah, and it had like an amazing twist, if I may say so. That's my
Oh,
book. So it's just like, she
I
crisp.
know. Dang, now you're making me want to get back on mine. Mine had a really cool twist too. Like,
Maybe that's our 2026 projects, Becca. Who
mm,
knows?
okay, we'll see.
That's so many words, Becca.
I
It is.
know. I know. You see why I like gave up? I'm just like, oh my god, it's not even halfway through, and I'm past 100,000. I can't do
If you
this.
need an extra point of view along the way, make it a hero's horse.
Aw, that would be so
My
cute.
hero's horse is named Blackjack.
Ugh, love that.
Yeah.
I actually, way back when wrote a screenplay about like the Revolutionary War, but through the horses.
Oh, that sounds like a fun
It was
premise.
cute. Like it was fun. Yeah, because I had written a screenplay on George Washington, then I had written a screenplay on Benedict Arnold, and just they were all crap. They were just terrible. And then I thought, well, maybe if I just peel the story back and tell it through their horses, it would help me see it as a story rather than sticking to the actual like history of it. And it really did help because it's like it was more emotional, right? Because the horses don't really care about the politics, you know? Um,
Yeah.
and it just like with George Washington in particular, his horse survived like where he survived in places where he had bullet holes in his jacket, and yeah, both of them survived. So anyway, it was like a yeah. Anyway, I don't know. She said the horse thing. Regina mentioned the horse, and that's my brain went back to like
Regina!
horse script.
We're going to dive back into this horse sprint, which is going to be another 25 minutes on the clock starting now. Pling plong, pling plong. How did you do, Becca?
I did good. I started the next chapter.
You're
Um,
on it.
I am. So far with the 2 sprints, I've done 1,028 words.
Killing it. Wow.
Yeah.
Ratu.
How about you?
I did some more notes on my little pyramid of plot, I guess it's called.
Okay.
I now know what to happen. I now know what has to happen, but I don't know what happens, if that makes sense. But I know that there needs to be like a mission. I need to invent what the mission is.
Right.
And the mission needs to go well, but then the mission needs to transition into the all is lost moment.
Okay.
And I do know what the all is lost moment is, so
Okay. So that could be fun, actually, just trying to come up with what the mission is.
what do cowboys do in the Wild West on a mission? Do you have any suggestions? Let's workshop this live on Maine.
I mean, is it supernatural? Was that what you were saying?
Yeah, in terms of like horror or suspense.
Like what kind of supernatural? Is there like zombies or like is
More
there
like just like spirits, beings. Really, I can invent anything that I need for the story, and I have made several monsters. But it's like think more like demonic-ish monsters, and not in terms of
Okay.
like werewolves and vampires.
So is there something that like a particular demon might have that they need that could be like a heisty mission type
There
thing?
is a necklace that can control like the dark mist that the villain
Oh,
uses.
oh,
So I've
that
been thinking about like, do they need to steal the necklace?
I mean, yeah, because you know a good heist in a Western would be fun, especially if it's a heist from a demon.
Yeah. And then I thought about maybe blowing up a bridge that kind of central to the plot, so that
Mm,
the villain can't receive like reinforcements and weapons and supplies and stuff.
okay,
Uh, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to workshop some more in the next sprint.
okay.
Let's see what our friends did. Lots of horses in a western. Yeah, I had to sit down and like come up with a horse for every team member. So
Oh,
and there's like 6 members on my team. Um, so I had to invent like 6 horses and like, okay, what does the horse represent? What are the names? What will my character name them?
I love that though. That's so important.
So even though horses have backstories, some of them are never mentioned by name,
Aw,
but I know what they are. So
I love that.
this made me think of Spirit Stallion of
Oh,
the Cimarron.
don't get
Is
me
that the one with
started
the
on
60
that.
horse?
Don't get me started on that film because I wrote my screenplay in 1995 and I gave it to DreamWorks and they read it. And then in
And then
2002, Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron came out 7 years later.
cause and effect. Cause and effect.
Who knows? But it definitely not the Revolutionary War, but it was telling the story through the horses with the like in the same kind of vibe that I had on mine. But I'm just saying, whatever.
Rebecca invented Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron. Confirmed.
I did it though. Like I mean, 100% did not write a single word of that, but the idea, I was like, I gave it to like honestly, I wouldn't even care if I just had written the screenplay in 95 because, I mean, it's not that original. I telling the story through the horse's POV. It's just that they had the script.
But as we all know, you can't copyright an ID,
You
sadly.
cannot. You cannot. You cannot.
But we trust you. We believe in truth.
But
The
no, I
truth
did
is out there.
not write a word of that screenplay, but I'm just saying.
Regina said, I will chat back in a bit. Have to hop over to Zero's Twitch stream.
Oh, what's
Okay.
going on right now?
Anna said, had someone in to fix the dishwasher. Yay, I'm so
Oh,
relieved.
yeah.
Mars read a couple more chapters, but mostly I'm just rotting in bed with Gremlin. Ooh, where's Chloe?
Well,
Pop off, Becca.
thank you.
I had dinner while watching some more of Brandy Sandy's lessons. Ooh, have you watched them? His college course?
Oh, this is so funny because Nia reached out to me because she's gonna do like a video series on his stuff. And I
Ooh.
have never, I'm like a huge Brandon Sanderson fan. I think I've read like pretty much everything he's written. And I have not watched a single like lecture. And I think it's because I'm always worried that because I've had favorite authors before, don't wanna name them, but, like, they've just been so horrid as people that, like, I get worried that something's gonna come out, and then we're gonna find out that he's like everyone all the others, because the only thing that flags me sometimes is him being Mormon, and like that was the same with Orson Scott Card, and I was a huge Orson Scott Card fan, and then that whole thing went down. I was like, oh my god, and I can't separate the artist from. I just can't.
Nor do I think we should, but
I know. I just yeah, and then I with J.K. Rowling, and then it was just like one after the other that I think I just got scared, like PTSD. Like I was like, I can't watch anything that he does because I need to have one author that I can love and not worry about and feel like find out that they're problematic. So I think I just stayed away from it. So this is gonna help me. I'm gonna actually I think she's going back from the beginning and then kind of seeing how it
oh,
evolves. And so that I think that'll be really fun because I think, I heard they're amazing. Have you ever watched one?
I watched one of the old ones, but it's been like 10 years ago, so it's got to be like one of the
Okay.
first ones they did.
Did you like
Uh,
it or no? It was just
I
not.
like it, but I love everything craft related, basically.
Okay. Yeah. I'm
So
excited. I'm excited
it's
because
very like very hands-on. I'll say it's
okay.
very like applicable. It's very like not formulaic, but there's definitely like a rhyme and reason to his writing process, I think, that I can at least resonate with because I also need like structure and I like to
Yeah,
know
I do
like
too.
writing to me isn't just some muse that like flows through my fingers. It's like a logical process.
Yeah.
And I think he works the same way.
Okay.
So
I mean,
that
that's
works for
good to know.
me.
Yeah, I'm excited because I'm figured, okay, I can I feel like it's
But
safe.
Becca, we know he was a Mormon, so I'm not worried. It's the ones we're not worried about that end up disappointing.
I
For
know, but
example,
we know
Neil
he's
Gaiman.
okay, but Neil Gaiman, okay, this I can say this now. I have never liked Neil Gaiman, and I always got the oog from him. And I
Oh.
always used to say it, and people always used to just give me such crap for it. But now I feel like justified.
I've had the same vibe, but that's mostly because he looks like my stepfather, who was not a good person, also. So,
I don't know what it was, like, it was in his writing, like, I the only book, to be fair, that I had tried to read was American Gods, and because I thought I would love the concept, thought it was great, but, reading that book, I just kept getting, ugh, 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 and I just couldn't
that
even
is also coincidentally the only book I've read of him.
Oh, really? That's so funny.
He did well. He didn't do it, but someone did a Norwegian translation. There was like it didn't last for more than 5 years or something, but a like Norwegian publisher like
Okay,
translated a lot of fantasy and sci-fi literature. So Game of Thrones, including American Gods, and they
okay.
did a giveaway for a signed edition, and I won it. So I'm like, I might
Oh,
as well read it now.
yeah.
But it's yeah, it's
Did you
I
have the
didn't like
same
the book. I
Yeah,
didn't like get the ick from the book. It was just
okay.
like I don't know, this is just not for me.
Yeah, I'd get the ick, and I'd also get, like, pretentious. Like, I was like, "Okay, this guy is full of himself." Like, like
Yeah,
sometimes when you're reading Dickens,
I
and I
just
don't
didn't like the way he like I don't know. There was something in the way the women were described
Yes.
in the. I
But
haven't
see,
read
that was
anything else,
it
but
for
in
me.
American Gods, but like um I forget the main character. Is his name Shadow or something? Like
Yeah.
his whole ex-wife and her arc, and then the different
Mhm.
gods we meet are kind of all I don't know,
Yeah.
sort of I don't know, infantilized or something. I just didn't vibe with it.
Yeah, I didn't either. So, yeah, I wasn't surprised by the Neil Gaiman thing at all, but
I'm never surprised by anything when it comes to men. To be fair,
I know, but that's why where the fear comes of why I never
yeah,
watched the Born Sunday because he's Mormon, like, and because of Orson Scott Card, like that those two are so closely related for me that I'm like, oh God, is he going to come out like Orson Scott Card did someday? And now we're just going to find out. What? But so far, it seems to be safe. But
Mullen did like it though,
okay,
but
you
her
did.
taste has 100% changed since then.
Okay. Well, but this is the thing is so many people do love it. Like, so it's like I'm not trying to like, like one of my friends, like he was her favorite author. So
Yeah,
like, I tried to keep that, my disdain, like quiet because I don't like poo-pooing on people's fandoms. You know what I mean? Because I hate it when people do that with me and I'm like really loving something and I'm so into it. And then, someone like my friend or something is just like, oh God, I hate that, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh,
I do try to be
cool.
very careful to yuck other people's yum, and I always
Yeah.
review thing as a like it wasn't for me situation,
Yeah,
and not like it's
exactly.
bad.
Yeah.
So I
But now
try
I
not
feel
to.
it's like I can safely say that. Like before I was all like, "Oh, no, it's just not for me, but I see why you would like that." But internally I'm like, "Oh, I got that." But now I feel like I can be like, "No, I hated him." Like it's okay.
Yeah, that's very fair. That's very fair. We're going to go into the next sprinterino. I think. Yes, I'm sure. Actually, I'm sure. I think this will be the last sprint.
Okay.
If like, we'll see what kind of breakthroughs we make in our writing, but this might be the last sprint, just so we're all emotionally prepared for that. But yeah, going into the last sprint question mark of the day, and here we go. Bum 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 bum.
Just
Lovely, lovely. Miss Becca C. Smith, what did you complete?
I got through some of the chapter. I did not finish, but so far for the whole stream, I have done 1,604 words.
Incredible!
Yeah. I mean, my brain automatically goes, that still doesn't make up for the 3 days that you didn't write.
Becca, stop.
I know I
Stop, stop,
can't help
stop.
it. Like that's the way the brain works. I try to shut it up. I'm like, stop, just focus on today.
Unless your brain can invent a time machine and go back and write on the previous days, that is not a fruitful or bountiful way to spend your energy.
I know. You're so right. But
Yeah.
how did you do?
I finished my little triangle of madness and then I opened a Google Doc, clean sheet, and I just kind of stream of consciousness.
Okay.
I just literally started like in the midpoint, this happened, and then I'm like just stream of consciousness questions that I have, like loose threads that I have, like how, like what do I need to happen? And then it just kind of drifted into like, okay, what can happen?
Okay.
What would be some cool things to happen?
Yeah.
What does my character feel like? Who's there?
Oh,
Just
I
a
love
stream of
that.
consciousness. So I got about let's see, how do I see word count on Google? Oh, word count, there you go. So I got 666 words. Cool.
Whoa. That feels perfect for the
For the stream of consciousness. So it's not gonna like literally like not into the document obviously, but I think I need to just empty my
yeah.
brain and then sift through it like a gold
Yeah.
miner and see what I
You
can
know
dig
what that
up.
reminds me of? Okay, I've only read like the very beginning of this book, but one of the things they suggested to do was to write diary entries as your character.
My God, this book's also suggests that.
Really? Oh my god. Yeah, I it was so like it helped me so much with the grandmother character because I although I had to like put on the top, this is a this journal entry is fictional and is supposed to be because she's like a killer. So I'm all like writing all these things of like why she does what whatever, like the journal entry, and I'm all like, if anyone found
Dear
that,
diary, today I've only killed 7 people, which isn't enough. I don't know why she's Southern, but
yeah, I was like, I should probably write somewhere that this is fiction in case someone picks it up.
this has a little paragraph about how to figure out your. They call it the mirror moment. No, they call it the transformation. So you're
Okay.
supposed to write a free-form diary-like entry, none of which has to end up in your book, but of course some of it might. The main purpose of the
Yes.
exercise, however, is to dig so as deeply into the thoughts of the character reflecting on the transformation. So
Yes.
like
It's
kind of that, when the character gets to the point where they realize, okay, the lie I believed is actually false, and this new truth that I accept is actually the truth. So they say to like write a little diary entry about that. So there you
that
go.
is so cool. Yeah, I mean that it's so funny because it's like even like years and years of reading craft books and writing and whatever, it's funny how you can still find new things. And that's why I love craft books because you could like 99% of it is something you've already heard or you've done or is your thing. But then that one thing is like, oh, I'm gonna try that. I
I
love
do like reading craft books. Yes. And I think it's all about finding the craft book that speaks to you and the way your brain works.
yes, for sure. Yeah, I've read
So,
some that have
yeah.
I do not
And I
go.
do think that sometimes just like I like this as a social study, not social studies. Like this is like what I read as like an educational purposes. Not to learn, but to like just read about writing. Um, but also end up learning a lot of things. And it's always nice to see new perspectives on things you already know. Like, of course, your character has a transformation in your novel, but
Yeah.
how can that look like, and how can you work finding that moment? And I think in writing, there's a lot of ways to roam.
Yeah.
You just
Oh,
gotta
definitely.
find the right way to for you.
Yep. I agree. I agree. Oh, I have to say something real quick because I saw that Mullen is watching too much Vampire Diaries. I know it's like, but there, I've been obsessed with this YouTuber. He's a react. If you like reaction channels, His
I
name
love reaction channels.
okay, his name I don't actually know what his name is, but his channel is What Happens Next, and he's been doing Vampire Diaries, and they're the best thing I have ever watched. So if you're a fan of the show and you wanna watch I mean, I don't know if it's just because he agrees with everything I agree with, because some people have very different opinions of what they want out of Vampire Diaries, but he, like, agrees with me. Now, what's crazy about why his reactions are so good is because years ago, he actually watched the originals, but never watched
Oh.
Vampire Diaries.
So he has
So
the backstory, but not the actual story.
yes, so when they started showing up in Vampire Diaries, it's so much more fun because he knows who they are, and he's all like, like he's so
That's
excited.
funny. I wanted to get into Vampire Diaries and I watched a couple of episodes, but it's just not for me.
Yeah, yeah, and if it's not, it's like it's literally that kind of show. Like, you're either
Yeah.
totally into it or just not at all. Yeah, but if you are into
But
it, What
I
Happens
did,
Next is what's called. Yeah.
yeah. What happened? I have heard about it. I think I watched a few shows through there. I did end up watching a Tomb Raider movie last night or the other night,
Oh, okay.
and they have not aged very gracefully, I will say.
Oh, no.
They are most definitely made by a man, and I don't even need to look up the director. But I still think,
Sure.
Lara Croft is a fun character to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did not age well. And also watched an episode of Teen Wolf, which did age well. I love Teen Wolf still.
You know, it's so funny, when I was, on the plane ride last time, I started rewatching it because I watched it when it aired
Me
because
too.
my friend, Dan was one of the writers on the
Shut the
show.
fuck up.
So I worked with him on Ghost Whisperer, and then that was his next job, and so I was so
I'm once
excited.
removed from a creator of Teen Wolf. Dang.
It was so cool though because everything that like, basically Styles' character is Dan. Like, that is my friend. That is who he is. He is 100% Styles in real life. Like, he's so funny. So when I saw the show, like, I was like, okay, does he just write all of Styles' scenes? Because it was like
Is
so
it just a
perfect.
self-insert?
It was, but then Styles still ended up being one of my favorite
I
characters.
love Styles, but I'm
Yes.
also a gay man, so Lydia was where it was at for me. Ah, she's
Love.
so cool. I just
Like,
love the fashion and the hair and the
yes.
attitude.
Oh my god. And
It was
then
great.
have her just become like the coolest character.
Yeah, she did
Um,
really. I was so obsessed with Ghost Whisperer as a little middle schooler.
well, I worked on that show too, so
Let's see what our friends did. Let's actually say hello to Katie first. Hello, Slay.
oh, hey!
Okay, but that's so real, Becca. I'm also struggling with that because I'm like, I missed 2 days, but I was working on
Yes.
BC stuff, so it's like I didn't work anyway. I feel ya.
Yeah, I mean, I did do stuff, it just wasn't writing,
Yeah.
but of course, it just immediately I actually bought fabric, so
You did Super Mario Fabric, six
I
yards of
did.
it.
I actually ended up getting more because
Stop
I
it.
found a pattern that's like the
Oh,
striped it's like the coolest pattern, and it's this dress, and the only way for the fabric that I got to work was that I needed another fabric to be more like stripes, and so I
okay.
found a striped version of Mario Brothers 2, so this is gonna be like a crazy, like, clown dress, but I'm very excited for it.
When they got 322 words for that sprint, Kagehima got 328. Look at you all getting words in. Okay, but an epistolary novel written as the big bad guy, is that what else stands for? BBEG's diary sounds so fun.
Yeah.
I think Mistborn does that, doesn't, or isn't that not just? Oh no, that's just a bunch of different. Mistborn and Dune have those little
Like,
epistolaries in
the
the beginning, I
beginning,
think.
yeah, 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 I do like those too.
It's got to be campy though. Yeah. Diary entry just makes me think of Elena Gilbert. I've been watching too much Vampire Diaries. Dear diary, there's this super secret thing Klaus told me, so I can't tell anyone. Already killed them all. Written down in this very easy to open book. Signed, Stefan.
Dead. Oh my
That is
god.
so funny. I think I need to do this. My character's not the type to write a diary, but I think at that transformation point,
Yeah,
I could see them doing it. But
yeah.
also, it's just you getting to know like your character's inner thought. I feel like it's
Yeah,
also
you
really
don't
helpful.
even leave yeah, because I don't think my character would write a diary at all, but, because it would be
Mine wouldn't
proof.
either. I'm not
Yeah,
even sure I can write. So
Right. Yeah, so it's really just for you. It's not, don't think of it so literally as your character would or would not write a diary. It's just so you can like dive
yeah,
fully into their thoughts.
much prefer legacies. Actually, it's
Oh,
so
I
fun.
did like that. That was good. That was fun. It was like monster.
Um, okay, but did you all know that there used to be such a thing as a noctuary, a journal for dreams and the night? It's
Ooh,
supposed to stay stuff in the diary. I don't know. I just love this idea. I love the word noctuary though.
I do.
Laura says, I worked on the Tomb Raider remake, still haven't seen the it or the original. I haven't seen the new one, but I did see the Angelina Jolie early 2000
Yeah,
movies, and they
that's
are very much of the early 2000 age, I will say.
yeah.
Um, BBEG, Big Bad Evil Guy.
Yes.
You guys are giving me ideas.
Oh.
Like now I want to write a book where the entries start with a diary the MC was told to start by her therapist. And at the start,
Oh.
she reluctantly fills it in.
I
Ooh,
love
I
that
love this
idea.
concept.
Mm. I already want to read it.
Yeah. My therapist always encouraged me to cry during our sessions, and I'm not a huge crier. So whenever like I welled up, I'm like, no, I shan't cry.
I will not.
So yeah, I would not do this diary situation. I'll just say.
Yeah.
But yeah, do we feel one more sprint or?
Um, I actually am meeting up with Hudson in 45
Oh, so
minutes.
you got a pop. That's all
So,
right. Then we'll call it a day.
yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for
As
having
always, for
me.
anyone else who kind of like, if you ever want to join a stream, I made a little sign up sheet that I'm going to post in the chat right now. It has been approved by our own in house graphic designer. So I'm sure
Oh
it's
wait,
going to be all
this is
right.
in the Discord you said?
I'm just posting it in the chat here.
Oh, in the chat. Okay, good.
So if you ever want to sprint, you can put your name down for whatever date you want. There's usually 3 slots available. The grayed out slots are not available. Those are handpicked for the writers chat thingamajigs for obvious reasons. But yeah, if there's a free slot and you're wanting to join, sign up. And if you don't want to join, that's also cool. Uh, I don't know. Should I pin this comment to my community? That's not your problem. But yeah, I'm just like, how do I do this? But thank you so much for joining.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for being here consistently, and also thank you so much for writing 1,000 and something words, 600
You're
words today.
welcome.
Good job. You broke the rut, Becca, and that was
I
the goal for
did.
today.
Yay.
OMG, fun. You're seeing Hudson. And you recently met up too, right?
We did. We try to meet up once a week because her husband comes out for work to my area because normally she lives like in LA. It's so weird. If you live in a different part of LA, you never see each other. But like if you come to the area, then it's all like, yes, let's hang out. So she's going to be here today. So there's this garden near me that I totally forgotten about. It's called the Japanese Garden
Oh,
and it's really pretty and it's free, and so we're gonna meet up there.
love it, love it, love it. Yep. Thank you so much for being here. Tomorrow is another Trouble Wednesday. I will be doing tarot.
Oh,
And yeah, I guess I'll see you
I'm
next
scared of
Tuesday.
your tarot.
Bye.
Bye.